Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to take the dash apart quick so you can put the four-wheel drive indicator where I put it. So I already have it in there, so just kind of ignore that. You're not going to find this on YouTube or whatever. This is just going to be for this group. I'm going to show you how to take this dash apart so you're not too intimidated by it. So you're going to need some tools. You're going to need a 10mm with a socket wrench and an extension. If you got one of these, that's cool. You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver. You're going to need a hammer. Don't ask. A 5/16 wrench. Get yourself one of these. It's a magnet. It's flexible. It's got a magnet on the end. It's for getting bolts. You should have one of these anyway for a hydraulic filter change when you're getting the filings out. And get yourself a paint pen. That's it. That's all you need for the tools for getting apart. And I'm going to show you how to do it real quick. First thing you're going to do is you're going to have this on there. It won't look like this. Yours will be orange. Take that off. And then you're going to start doing bolts. You're going to have a bolt here. And I've got them partially taken apart because, like I said, I reinstalled it for you guys. So go ahead and take these out. And you're going to have one on the other side. Just stand right there. Take the other side out. You're going to take the two in front out. So you've got four right there. And then you're going to go to the front of the tractor. Pop your hood. You're going to come right over in here. You're going to see a bolt here and a bolt here. Like I said, they're loose. You're going to take those off with your wrench. Like that. Now that's all the bolts you have. You're done with the 10mm for now. Those are your 6 bolts. Next, you're going to take this panel right here. You're going to just grab it and pull it out of there. Set it off to the side. It's basically so you can get at these 2 levers that have these 2 right here. And refer to this video if you forget how to put it back together, which one was which. But there's 2 Phillips screws, one on each one. Bear with me here. They're a bugger to see standing up. There's one, and there's a Phillips in this one. They're keyed, so they go back in. I'll show you a second. After you get the screw out, you see they're notched with a half moon. So is the switch. If you come over right here, you can see that's notched also. Now what these levers are for, come around this way. These levers are for when you put them back in, you can hold the lever and start the screw. So it's keyed like this. And then this one is right here. You just got to flip it. It'll fall into place. Anyway, you get it. It's see, it just flips like that. You hold it with this hand. You got to kind of be a contortionist and then put the button back on and then twist the screw. And this is so it doesn't move around, so you don't have to go behind. So that's what you got for the nuts. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to grab the top of this steering wheel. Just grab it like this. Pull this off. Then you're going to take your 15/16 or your socket. A ratchet works better because if this is the first time taking it off, you're going to break this loose, and then this nut. You're going to take this nut and go all the way up to the top of these threads. So it's not flush, it's actually under the nut. And then you're going to just take your hammer, and don't be brutal. Just, you got to kind of force it, hold up on the bottom while you tap this, and this will come up. It won't come up that easy, obviously, because like I said, I've got it off already. Then you take that nut and you just wiggle it and it comes out, and it's spindle keyed, so it fits into here. So when you put it back on, you'll have to give it a tap, and then the nut will force it the rest of the way back on. So basically that's enough to get it out. Now you can see the 4-wheel drive switch is right here. You technically don't have to take this all out to get this in if you're careful, because there's nothing behind here. But I had to put this in too. So I just took the whole dash out because I wanted to see if I could put the indicator in there. So basically after you get those bolts out, you're going to have 2 clips down on the back side of this. That's what holds those nuts. and you're going to hear a cling. Let me show you. You can go to the other side. You're just going to take this kind of loose like that, and the only thing that's going to hold you up is this tilt wheel, so don't be afraid to move this thing if you got it, but the hood's got to be down to get the dash out. So basically you'll just get it like this, and then you can move it forward. Now if you can drill this hole here, which is a 1/2 inch, it's a 1/2 inch drill bit, that's what fits that 4-wheel drive light. So if you want to drill from here, you can literally feel up in there. There's some wires for the I've got the wires for the pigtail running out, but the wires for the PTO would be the only thing. And if you grab this quite right and you pull, like I said, you got to be kind of a contortionist. You pull, it's going to come out. And what I did was I marked every one of these. So this is the top and this is the side. You don't want to put that back in backwards because you'll get a light on in the dash and you'll be like, Gary, what the hell did I do? Anyway, next thing you're going to do is you're going to grab this, and on this side, you can come over this way, I'll show you. There's 3 pigtails. 1, 2, and there's 3 hooked onto the dash. Now what I did with my paint pen, I marked 1 slot, 1 slot, 2 slots, 2 slots, 3 slots, and I'll mark the 3 slots once I pull them out. But you'll just reach in here, push this tab, give it a wiggle, and these will pop off. And you got a 3rd one right here. And that tab's on the bottom of that connector, so you got to wiggle it pretty good. Now you're free from the dash console. The next thing you can do is you can reach back up in here and release the ignition switch. That only goes in one way. So right now, all the wiring, the PTO wire's off, the ignition switch wire's off, the console wires are off. Now I'm going to whip over to this side. And you can see that I have the turn signal switch out already. But basically when you have this forward, you'll reach back there, you'll grab this, you can pop it forward and then disconnect this. And then you have the headlight switch, which goes in one way. So you're not going to mess that up. After you get it this far, this is where you're going to kind of tuck this, and you're going to kind of manhandle it a little bit to get it past that tilt part. Once you get it past that, this thing's out. Just like that. Bam, you're out. That's it. And you can see where I put these in. But you want to mark everything. So this is used to say TS top. So that's turn signal, and this is the top of the switch. This can only go in one way. That's the ignition switch. You can see 3, 1, 2, and they're labeled here. 1, 2, 3. Nothing goes here. Put them back in that same way, and you're golden. These are the wires for my fuel water separator alarm buzzer. But anyway, after you get it right there, the dash is out, and you guys can see this is real glass. So I did take this out, and I was going to put the 4-wheel drive indicator right here, but I could do it, but I don't want to show you guys how to do it because I'm afraid you'll get up in here and you'll crack this glass, and then you'll be like, Gary, look what you did to me. So the best place to mount it for me was right here. And like I said, if you're just putting this in, you can get away, because if you look right here, there's nothing there. When these are hooked up and this is hooked up, there's nothing there. So if you hold it up and you drill, take a 1/2 inch drill bit and mark it with tape so it only goes in like that far. Drill it. Once the tape's done, you can slide this in, and then you just got to put, this is the sneaky part, you got to put this nut on there is what you got to do. So if you want to do what I just did, you want to see it, while you're in there, clean all that crap out, the mice nest, the dust, all that BS that you haven't gotten to in a long time. But that's easiest way to take the dash apart. Now, I did tell you about the Jesus clips. So, yep, I lost one. You see these clips right here? When you take this loose from right here, these clips, you're going to hear a ting, 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 and it's going to fall down in there. Both of them. And if you got your mower deck on, they might drop to the mower deck. They might not. But this is why you want this magnet and an LED light. Just shine it in there, because if it didn't go far, you'll be able to see it, and you can retrieve it with this magnet. Now this one dropped, so let me see what side that's on. That's on this side, so it probably dropped down to the deck. But anyway, you need those clips to put them back on here when you reassemble. So when they do fall off and they go under and you retrieve them, take a little pliers, give them a smash down a little bit, so when you put them back on these two tabs, they're tight. And you can see that there's another clip right here of the same kind and one on the other side. So those are available at the hardware store. If you can't find them, they're just bring your 10mm bolt up, and they're a U-clip. You'll be able to get them there. They're really cheap. You should have a handful on hand anyway for these stupid John Deeres. So I will look for the clip, but that's how you take it apart. Going back together, just reverse order. Just make sure when you're putting it back together, you put these two with the Jesus clip that you lost back in first. That way you know the threads are going in, and you don't get up here, put it all together, go down here, and you hear a ting, 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 and you got to take it all back apart again. So when you put it back together and you get all the wires hooked back up, do these middle two first, and then put it back together. If you do get this backwards, which you can put it in backwards, so make sure you mark it. I marked it on the piece. You can see which terminals go where, but I just marked it so I know. If you get this in backwards, you'll get a light on in the dash and you'll be scratching your head for a while. And I think you can actually maybe plug, I'm not sure, but if you mark these, you won't have to worry about it. If you mark the top of this, you know it's the top. Draw a line right here. And take pictures, guys. That's it. And then putting it back together is reverse order. But like I said, you might not have to pull it all the way apart if you're confident in your drilling ability, and you can get your hand under there once you drill the hole to put that nut on. The only thing is it's going to be, you have to get a socket under there, hold the light a little bit, and tighten that nut so that that four-wheel drive indicator stays nice and flush and where you want it. That's it. Next time you guys see me, I'll explain what parts to get. But if you want to do the light, you're only going to see it on this group. I'm not posting it on YouTube. Members only crap, you know. Thanks, guys.